This is episode 20 of the Rise Up podcast. We're a morning radio show hosted by Steve, Terese, and Tim on Family Life, a network of stations across New York and Pennsylvania. Our podcast is a weekly conversation that will help you think and grow in your faith. If you haven't already, subscribe today so you don't miss a single episode, and find out more about our show at familylife.org.
Today is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. This is Rise Up on Family Life.
This is a funny thing my dad does when he's telling a story. He'll say, so I was at the store the other day, and so I asked the kid working there. Well, he was in his late 30s, but so I'm like, Dad, late 30s, what does that make me? The kid, of course, is a relative term.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're in first grade, fourth graders are the big kids.
Right.
It's like, whoa, they are the big kids. But it's funny because I myself have kind of felt like the kid in any group I've been in, like pretty much forever. So I'm the youngest of three brothers in our family. My birthday, we're at Falls, kind of right before the school year starts. I've just about always been the youngest in my class. And, well, here I am on Rise Up. I feel a little bit like, the new guy, the new kid. And we're all of us at different parts in life. So regardless of your age, we've all been the new guy, new girl in different places. Maybe it's been at a job or in a class. I'm wondering, Steve and Terese, when was the last time you had an experience made you feel like you were the new kid somewhere?
Well, I mean, I think when I first got out of college and got my new job, like my first full-time job, that was one of those times. It was horrible, by the way. It's the only time in my life I've ever gotten fired. And it was like, because I just thought I knew all the things. And you would have thought that I would have learned. But when I first came to Family Life, I also thought I knew all the things. And thankfully, there's a lot more grace in ministry. And I've been able to kind of actually learn all the things in that time that I've been here. But it's funny because I have another part-time job just kind of for fun. And when I started there, even though I'm older, I'm not like the young kid anymore, I had to learn everything. And it's in a completely different field. It's in retail. So it was totally foreign. But for the first time in my life, Timothy, this will happen to you. I have a supervisor who's younger than I am. And I think part of the reason you feel like the new kid all the time is because you're surrounded by people who are older. And I hope that we've never made you feel like you don't know as much or don't have as much value because you're younger. I mean, I hope especially that Steve and I truly appreciate the viewpoint that you bring to the show because you do have a different perspective from a different generation.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, I agree with that because it's like, what can you, sometimes you get into that thing of like, okay, I've been around a long time and so I must know everything. But that attitude of like, oh, what can I learn from the quote new guy, the younger guy, because it's a whole different perspective. And, if you're not growing, it's not a good thing. That's with plants as well. Plants die if you're not willing to grow. You're just going to fade away. So yeah, that's true. Let's see, new guy for me. I guess it would be Family Life 11 years ago, and it's interesting because when you're the new guy, there's a lot of enthusiasm on your own part. Because you're new and you want to learn and you want to impress everybody, or you want to do a really good job. And the the danger in that is that shouldn't that be our attitude? Every day, 10, 15 years later, we still should want to do the best job because we're not trying to impress anybody else. We're trying to, we're working for God and working for the Lord. So, but there's not only how you approach your job, but how other people approach you. When you're the new person there, you get paid attention to, and and they want to get to know you and all kinds of stuff. And then you again slide into the months go by, and now you're just one of the other people. But yeah, I love. It's been 11 years here. My previous job was almost 20, and I get to that point because my first handful of jobs in my life were like 2 years. 3 years, it was like short stints. And that was so different how I was brought up. I'm the oldest of the three of us. My dad in that generation, all my friends' dads had jobs when they started, and that's that same job and they retired from that
right.
job. That's like the 30, 40 years later, and they got the watch or whatever they got.
The watch.
Yeah. They always look forward to whatever that was. And so that's how I was brought up. So I felt a little bit like, 2 years there, 3 years there. It's like, but that's the norm now, right? I mean, the younger people have new jobs seemingly all the time.
Right.
And how long will they stay, the new job, right?
And I think that might be a challenge for some of the not new people because they might think, this person is apt to leave because they don't care, because they're not dedicated, because whatever it is. But there are some different reasons why. For example, Gen Z, which is that where you fall, Tim? You're kind of like right on the edge.
Yeah, like technically a very young millennial.
Okay. So Gen Z is most concerned about work-life balance. They're very into personal well-being. So their motivation for leaving a job might not be, this isn't worth it, or, this was not this or was to that, or I don't care. It might be that they want to move into something that helps them to be a better human being, a more complete human being. And, for me, I kind of subscribe to your mindset, Steve, that you were raised in, which is like you work and you work hard, and sometimes that means that I put work over a lot of other things in my life. I don't have good work-life balance always. And so I can learn something from that mindset of, okay, how can I make this position fill me both professionally and personally? Like, I think there's something to learn from that. Meanwhile, the millennials, this is Tim's generation, they are the least engaged, they say, in the workplace. So one of the ways that you can help them is creating a great workplace. And that means a lot of things for a lot of different people. But you see a lot of companies tout like, we're one of the best workplaces to work for.
They have beanbag chairs.
And I don't know what that means for different people.
Right.
But here's the thing. Someone in Tim's age group, if they feel like they're working for a great place, they're more apt to tell other people what a great place it is to work and help to recruit those people. So if this is what motivates people of this age, and you can create that experience, then you might be able to attract more people, which especially now, attracting people into positions is a really big deal. And so just kind of knowing where people are in terms of what they value, and there's so many studies about why they value what they value and the way people are raised and what was going on in the world and technology and all of those kinds of things. But I think it's important that even if you have been at a place a while, or if you're of a certain age, that you kind of learn some things about the new people that are coming in.
Yeah, we have a beanbag chair here?
We don't. No, we don't. But
still a great place to work, but no beanbag chairs.
Yeah, we have one of those rolly ball chairs, but I think somebody got hurt on it at the last Share-a-thon, so those are bad.
So that is gone. No more rolly ball chairs. Wow, man. I love when I see something that catches my eye in the book of Timothy, or one of the books of Timothy, I should say, in the Bible, because there's two of them. And it happens to me sometimes. It's just funny the way these things kind of seem to line up for me, Tim. 1 Timothy 4:12, let no one despise you for your youth. And no, thankfully, I do not feel despised on the show for my youth. And thank you very much for not making me feel that way. But it's something I do have to remind myself, kind of like a balance I feel like I need to strike when I view myself as the new guy or the young person. I have to remind myself, don't expect others to expect less of you. Don't expect that others are necessarily going to say, oh, give him the pass. He's the new guy. Don't expect him to do too much. Don't expect him to really wow you. He's the new one. That's a really important reminder, because it makes you want to do your best, first of all, but also it makes you want to not just lean back and say, well, they're not going to expect too much of me anyways. I'm the young one. And then at the same time, there's that balance of not crushing yourself, saying, I'm young, so I've got to prove myself. I've got to show that I've got something to add here. I've got to show that I can earn my keep and pull my weight. Just have confidence, whatever your age. If you're young, if you're old, if you see yourself as somewhere in between, it's Christ who's the one that establishes you and qualifies you wherever you are, whatever your age, whatever your experience you've got behind you, or however much experience you have yet to gain. always be humble. Always be respectful of the people around you, regardless of age, realizing I'm just going to do my best. I'm just going to be confident in who I am because, honestly, at the end of the day, it's Christ who's brought me to wherever I am in life, whenever I happen to be there.
Let me speak from the old generation to other in the older generation to watch out. Be careful. Just what to Tim's point, many times we've been around for a long time and we go, this is the way we do things. This is the way we've always done things. Don't fall into that trap. As you just said, God has placed everyone at the right place at the right time. Right. So we as the older generation need to be humble and listen to the younger generation. So don't say, this is the way we've always done it and this is the way it's always going to be.
Right.
God put that new person there for a reason. So keep your ears and your hearts open.
Starting your day with fun and encouragement. This is Rise Up on Family Life.
Well, I guess that people apply for patents all the time and then stuff never makes it, so it's I had the idea, but I didn't make the thing. Oh. This technology exists, but it's never made it to the consumer marketplace. And I don't understand. I don't understand why. Sony has a patent that lets you skip commercials just by yelling at your television. So you could be like, skip 30 seconds, and then it would just do that, And I guess if you use Apple TV, you can do that, but it's just not the same. Because could you imagine if there was a scene that you didn't want to watch? You could just be like, skip all that stuff. I don't want to watch that. But then let's take that technology and let's apply it to other things.
Oh, sure.
You roll up, the light turns red, turn green, and then if everybody
the other person did,
they yelled, but then it's whoever yells the loudest turn green, right?
Oh, so we'd all be driving and yelling even louder.
Right. But I think that this technology already does exist at Family Life.
Oh,
play the song.
Okay, well that worked.
It worked.
Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. It's Rise Up with Steve, Terese, and Tim on Family Life.
June. Lots of weddings in June. Maybe you're going to one. I've already been to one. Fun times for some. But anytime you want something and it's withheld, it creates a longing in you for that very thing. And maybe this month that comes to marriage. When you desire marriage, but God withholds it, it's always going to be a fight to find contentment in that situation. Paul knew that battle well. He said in Philippians 4:11 that he had to learn to be content in whatever situation he was in. And it can be a battle to find contentment in singleness. Paul tells us learning to fight that battle is found in learning to rely on the strength of Jesus. It's about learning to abide in Christ and learning to endure in his strength for God's glory and for our joy. But it is a battle, but it's a battle well worth learning to fight. God will see you through it.
If you're looking for fun, hope, and encouragement, you've come to the right place. This is Rise Up with Steve, Terese, and Tim on Family Life.
I try to stay fascinated at nature, and it is not hard. Nature is fascinating. Our God is amazing, but sometimes the way nature fascinates you, it's a little more morbid fascination. It's a little troubling sometimes. That's how I felt when I learned about these guys, the tap dancing spiders. Yeah, you might know them as wolf spiders. They do this thing. They have a competition with each other. They have a tap dance off.
Come on.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. They say that whichever spider can perform the most complicated tapping rhythm with its legs is the one that's going to win the attention of a mate. And
it's
that's
always
really
about the girl.
It's not the biggest spider. It's not the strongest spider. It's whoever has the most complicated, rhythmically impressive dance moves. That's fascinating.
Well, and I understand where it might be fascinating and amazing to some people, but I, for years, have had, come here, buddy.
What?
Simon, my spider, my pet spider.
That?
Simon,
so
my spider. Well, it's a tap. It's not just a spider. It's a tap dancing.
It's one of these
little hats.
Hold on a little hat. What's tougher is to find the shoes.
Oh, that's got to be difficult.
Hold on, let me clip on this microphone here on Simon. Come here, buddy. Come here. Do what you normally do, like when you wake up. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
So talented.
Wow.
Thanks, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's a popular guy.
Well, okay. Get back in there.
Don't hit the snooze button. Come join us. It's Rise Up with Steve, Terese, and Tim on Family Life.
Oh, I want to go. There's a small village in England where they're having this, it is a sporting event, but I think you might get into it.
Sports ball, Steve. Maybe I'm not the right one for it.
I have the perfect person for this job. What a great sporting event. We bring in Terese Maine.
Wait, for me to something with sports?
Oh, it's amazing. It's a big contest. It's the annual hill cheese rolling race, and I know how you love your cheeses, so let's go to Terese Maine now, and let's check out the race. It's cheese rolling time.
Well, there have been some concerns of cheating in today's race. Some of the competitors seem suspicious. But each of these racers is not just Gouda. They're trying to brie all that they can be. It is coming down to the wire. There can only be one winner. Yeah. For all the others, this is not your best day. But it's not just the competitors that are having a rough time. Did you hear about the race photographer?
No.
He was crushed by a wheel of cheese.
Oh, no.
We tried to warn him.
Oh. Cheese.
Coffee? Check. Music? Check. Fun and encouragement? Check and check. It's Rise Up with Steve, Terese, and Tim on Family Life.